Of course, there are, like, once you put the feedback, no, this is not right person because of this reason, then it also trains itself. And that's why I like if our client gives the feedback, not every time we get the feedback, but
so it can find people from anywhere or just like
any publicly, right? Like if.
All right, we're live on another episode of Life Sciences 360, and our guest today is Dharti Pancholi. She is the founder and CEO of Omni Consulting Services. Welcome to the show, Dharti.
Hi, thanks for inviting us, and nice to meet you.
Yeah, I want to ask you first is what was going on through your mind? Because I know you've had many other roles in the past, and then you started your own venture with Omni Consulting. So what was going on through your mind, and what led to the birth of Omni Consulting?
Yeah, well, I've thought like a couple times to throughout my career to start my own consulting firm. Every time I kind of stayed excited about what I was doing for those companies, right? And then decided I'll do it a little later. And then I knew that at some point, this is what my ultimate goal was. I wanted to start that. And you're right. Like, some people also told me, like, my last 3 consulting companies, right? Especially like last 7-8 years of that, I was working more as like reporting to CEO, growing the company, doing the similar aspects, managing similar things, and sort of doing the same thing that I'm doing now, except it's much smaller scale. So many people have also told me similar, like, you were already a chief operations officer, an executive vice president, and global managing director. What made you think about this, right? It's really more about, it's like I wanted to do this, and this is kind of my ultimate thing, right? So it's more like answering what if, right? Like, so if I'm in my bed after 30-40 years and thinking about like my own story, telling that to myself, right? Then it's part of that what if I started my own? And that's a one piece I didn't want to not have in my career. And I think for all of us, it's sort of, we are our own storyteller, right? Or author of our own life story. And this was important to me. So I didn't want to not have that. And in a way, I'm kind of doing the same thing since I worked in the biopharma consulting companies, doing pretty much the same thing, except that starting from the scratch, right? So,
It sounds more like personal fulfillment, because some people they spend a lot of their career trying to get into a position, or they're motivated by a role or a title that they want, and that fulfills them. Some are fulfilled by financial gain or whatever it is. But it seems like in your case, you pretty much had all of that, and you were still not fulfilled.
That's true. Yeah. No, in a way, like, I mean, like how it is when you start your own company, you don't make that much, right? And I was actually making all these, like, I mean, overall throughout, right? Like, it wasn't like, money.
Yes.
It wasn't a title or anything, because I think many people will count that as success itself, right? But it's really wanted to do. And then it's kind of like, I feel like our actions today, that's sort of what defines our tomorrow, right? And this is my passion. Of course, there are some healthy challenges, I would say, starting of your own company. But that was my passion. I wanted to stay in biopharma only and consulting.
So when I was researching about what you do at Omni Consulting, one thing that I saw that was slightly different from many other companies in this space is that your team and you are involved in managing a lot of consulting projects, but then you're also helping with recruiting talent. So I've seen companies either pick one and like go in that track. So why are you like just testing both out, or is that your strategy to do both?
That's a very, very good question. Yeah, no, it is the strategy. It didn't start like that, to be honest. So our main focus is still consulting, right? It is my background for like last 13 some years has been consulting, and that's sort of what I would say is I consider myself a technical process engineer by like, education and career. And of course, I worked on CQV design projects, project management, but that's sort of still my passion, right?
Yep.
So consulting will never go away. Even our staff is mostly that, like, technical. But throughout my journey, I kind of faced like there are some people that really want to work on user side, and there are some people that want to work on consulting. And there are
Right.
some which kind of is open to both world, right? And there are some clients also which has like, FTE, and these are strict FTE rules, and some rules that are flexible. I didn't want to, and most of the consulting companies I worked, it's like if you hire that employee, it's like you made some mistake, right? I mean, it's like, they are not our, even though they wouldn't say that, but it's kind of, that they
Frowned
stole
upon.
our employee, that sort
Yeah.
of philosophy.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. I'm like, if people are happy and if client is happy, that's that's okay, right? What I want to do ultimately is connect the right opportunity with right people.
Yes.
And if that's what is in recruiting, totally good, right? Of course, our more focus and more business is still in consulting, and that's kind of where my background is more. But we added recruiting, and then we are flexible with some terms to change the temporary people, our consultants, to even permanent, depending on if it's the right thing for them. They don't need to, even consultants don't need to feel like I'm joining a company now. How will my company act with me? It's like, it's
Right.
freedom of work. You can go anywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Of course, we would like to have them continue, but at the end, it's more what is better for their own career, and what is better for the company and overall.
Yeah. I see that some people are they like consulting is really different in a lot of ways from full-time employment. It's not just the nature of the work, but even the mentality that you need to have, or the mindset person needs to bring for the same task is different. So some people are just not, they're really good at being in a leadership role or a full-time role,
Yeah,
but consulting brings a lot of uncertainty and they don't like that. And then there are consultants who just love that. They
right.
don't care, they don't want the full-time job or a salary. So I know I have few other friends in my network who've done consulting and corporate full-time roles. You have a lot of experience on both sides of the table. What is your take? Like, do you like one over the other?
Yeah,
What
no,
are your pros and cons?
that's a good question. If I would say so, of course, first of all, that recruiting and consulting not very common in biopharma. I have seen that, and I thought about like starting two separate companies too. But in IT industry, it's quite common,
Yeah.
to be honest. So then, it kind of worked, and that's the best way to switch. One thing that I would think is in it's, you're totally right. Some people are really meant for that. They like that stability. Consulting has its own pros and cons, and so is user side, right?
Yep.
It's more stable. You know where you are going
Yep.
tomorrow, if year after, of course, despite the layoffs and everything going on. But in consulting, you don't know where your other project will be, or there you are sometimes working on multiple projects, like, switching your mind from here to there, right? Like very almost suddenly. There are also some people, they really like it. From in my case, ever since I moved, I mean, I worked in, after my master's, I worked like 10 some years in user side companies and 13 some years in, and moved to consulting. But ever since I moved to consulting, that was for me. I mean, because everyone is different again,
Yeah.
right? And I totally respect that. But for me, it's like whatever is your capacity, you can do that. If you want to work more hours, more projects, you like to meet more people, or you want to just, I mean, of course, it's not always going to be one project, but meeting multiple people, multiple companies, multiple projects, that's kind of what I really liked. Not everybody likes it, and I totally
Yeah.
get it. And then the negative side is you may have to travel or commute longer, which again, for me, for the right project, I didn't have any problem with traveling, and so several of our team members. But yeah, of course, I mean, in user side companies, it's, where you are going, right? That's the biggest thing. And I did feel like there was a little bit of political aspects after a certain time, right? After you get to like associated at a certain level. And again, it
Yes.
depends on the company. I've worked in two small companies, one public company, and one of the company became public, two startup out of the two startup, and one didn't go anywhere, right? I mean, things happen. So it kind of like seeing those things. So yeah, I feel like, it really depends on each person.
Right.
And it's not like hard and fast. People can change around, right? Like in
Yeah.
this world, but yeah.
So one thing that I've noticed since I started Cultivate and trying to build the team and grow the company is in consulting, especially when you get a new project, if you're bringing there's these terms like A team and B team, junior and senior, like there's a lot of pressure, right? As a business owner or entrepreneur, if I sign a contract with a client and client says, hey Harsh, I need 5 people to do X, Y, and Z in validation, quality, like make sure you bring the team.
Mm.
It's, for me, that's been so hard to find the person, because I'm so nervous that if I bring the wrong person, I'll lose the client and literally like
True.
put my company down the drain.
Yeah,
And
reputation is a thing, right?
yeah, because it's such a big responsibility, right? As an employee, nobody, when you're working in a company, you don't have, like, you're not the one signing. But
Correct.
when I'm signing the contract for 5 people, X
Yes.
dollars per hour for 6 months, that number really like triggers you to say,
True.
whoa, like, I don't want to make a mistake, because it could. I've
Yeah.
seen many companies where consultants come in and maybe their attitude or their style is
What if
not.
they're wrong, right? It's your
Yeah,
reputation, your company's reputation.
correct. Yeah, because they come in and maybe their interpretation of some, the job or the regulation or
Yeah.
whatever it is doesn't really match, and you can't really interview someone for 30 minutes and find. I
Yeah.
mean, you can see if that person has a good culture, or do you
Yeah.
like working with them and stuff like that. But I've also seen in many cases where consultant comes in and 2 months later, like, everybody in that company doesn't like that consultant. And my biggest fear is I don't want anybody
Yeah.
on my team or myself to be in that spot. So
Right.
how do you go about finding people? Because I'm sure
Yeah.
you face this same challenge.
Yeah. So from consulting side, I think I have been a bit lucky, I would say, because ever since when it was announced that I'm starting my own and this and that, so many people reached out to me. I haven't been able
Nice.
to hire all of the good ones yet. So that is still depends on how it is. You don't want to hire everyone and just run all the cash flow down too, right?
Yeah.
From recruiting side, I mean, even though because I already knew many of them or somehow worked with them, but then on recruiting side, because we also do that, we have an internet database. We have few more like a sourcer that reaches out and send us the resumes when we have the right opportunity. Not everybody we know. Some people we reach out, we know them, and we find out like references and so on. And we also use we have an like AI SaaS based tool.
Interesting.
And that's really kind of that pulls, because some roles that we do in recruiting are not necessarily same as just CQV and engineering design project or a project management quality, that, right? We focus more only on technical roles. We only do technical roles, but that does include some roles like AMSAT and some quality control, which is not part of the consulting that we typically provide. So on that, our database is able to find some of the networks we can reach out, but we also use this AI SaaS-based recruiting platform that sort of like pulls we put the job description and skills and everything, and it kind of matches and shows the people who are not in our database, kind of like, from LinkedIn and other sources, right? The public sources. It's really cool. You like it because I know you have some AI says things too. So it's more like, let's say hers, right? You are in a company, and then I am in the same company. You have not updated your profile in LinkedIn, like how some people update
Right.
videos and
Yeah.
so on, right? And I have updated that. Then it will even say that hers is the right person for this position because
Wow.
Dharti works in the same role, same title in this same company. So it's kind of like smart tool, right? It will also do like, how many years you have been in the company. So, because, if you just started working in the company, you might not be open to
Right.
change, right?
Depends.
I wouldn't say it's perfect.
Some
It's
people are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
some people are in this market actually, right? I mean, or not just this market; it's this
yeah.
biopharma competitive market in general. But it kind of, it will really rank the people accordingly, and
Mm.
I really liked it because it's kind of that smart things we all like. Of course, there are like once you put the feedback, no, this is not right person because of this reason, then it also trains itself. And that's why I like if the
Oh.
client gives the feedback. Not every time we get the feedback, but in
It can, so it
general,
can find people from anywhere, or just like,
any publicly, right? Like if you have posted your resume in, let's say, Indeed or somewhere, or if
okay.
it's in LinkedIn, right? So kind of public. I mean, it's not like you have not posted anywhere. You're not public anywhere,
Right, right, right.
or that's separate. Like if your profile is very private, that's
Mm.
separate. But yeah.
But if you, let's say, if you had a client in San Francisco for consulting CQV role, and you put all the job description and the skills into this AI tool, and if that job was on site, then the tool would only try to find
Yeah,
people
you
like
can
50
also,
or
we
30
have that.
miles.
Yeah, we
Okay.
have
Or
that
if you,
category to put zip code and miles and
oh wow,
city and
okay.
everything, and it's pretty unique. I mean, you were like, and I know you are doing something in AI too, right? Like QMS.
Right. We don't, I mean, I don't use, we don't have our own internal AI platform. What we're doing is we're basically just testing out a bunch of different AI tools for data analytics and for automations.
Hmm.
So anytime we come across a client, a project, or a use case where we see that these tools could potentially help the client in doing
Hmm.
some simple automations, or if, let's say, they have a Excel spreadsheet or something with a data set that needs to be analyzed, of course you can go put formulas in Excel, or you can write Python script or whatever to do it. But there are a lot of plug and play tools available where you can just hook up your data in either CSV or Excel file, and it starts noticing patterns in that data, right? So if you uploaded, let's say, everyone's training records from their electronic QMS, if there's 100 people in a company and I got every person's training record from the EQMS into this AI tool, then the tool will start, I can start asking questions in natural language to say, show me how many percentage of the employees are finishing their training a week before it's due. So it will just analyze all the dates and everything, and it will say 73% are finishing 1 week before it's due, and 27 are
Oh,
waiting
that's
till the
cool.
last week. So yeah, so that's one example. That's a very simple example, but it can do those kind of things,
Right,
just on
right.
the
No,
base
it's
of data.
pretty good. Yeah, I mean, see,
Yeah.
like I feel like the new era, it's going to sort of merge the biotechnology with the IT and AI technology. It's going to be completely revolutionary.
Yeah, there's so much happening there. It's like every week there's some new article or some new
Yeah,
development that comes out, or somebody's testing out
true.
something and they find a new way of solving an old problem with AI. So it's just a lot going on right now,
True.
but there are a lot of risks, but there's also just amazing opportunity to
Yeah,
use it.
and it is not just like, I would say, like even when we find, right, let's
Mm,
say we find people, but not everybody is interested to move, right,
right,
or
right,
we have to still reach out to them and kind of see what their references are, whom they know, and it's a small industry, but still, right, like, because not everything is just by paper. It doesn't mean that many of the people are not always looking, right?
right,
So
right.
yeah, I mean, we do post some job description, not every time, but some of those. And to be honest, not many people in our biopharma field comes through application, but it's good if they do apply. But yeah,
Mm.
in general.
Yeah. So this year, I've had the same discussion with many other people on the show, and a lot of industry professionals have reached out to me on LinkedIn and by email. There's a lot of tons of layoffs happening every week or every other month. It's happening in biotech. It's also happening in tech companies due to whatever reasons. So have you have you seen from your side, in terms of all the layoffs that are happening, what any interesting observations that you can share? Like, one I've seen is people I won't say anyone's name, but I had a VP of quality reach out to me on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, I got laid off. I'm looking for a role, and I'm willing to take a pay cut. I'll take like I'll take a director job, and that's a big pay cut to go from VP to director, depending on where you are." But this person was like, I'm ready to do it. I just want a role, an opportunity. So I've seen more and more like people are willing to take a two-step down just to get a different opportunity. What have you seen from your side in terms of layoffs?
Yeah, no, that's a very, like, sad yet true thing, right? Like I heard,
Hmm.
like in March or February, I think March, there were like more than 100 companies had layoffs, it just in
Hmm.
California. And this is not just in biopharma, but still, right? Like, and it's huge. At the, how like one company started thinking we need to do something, and then like Tesla, right? And then
Yeah.
every company is thinking, every company is thinking like, are we doing it, or do we really need this many people? And sometimes
Right.
even if they just need to do something, make some changes to show, like, from management level, or wherever, right? That
Yeah.
that we are doing something, we're acting and trying to look into how we can utilize the workforce better. And sadly, it just maybe in some cases it was right, but some cases
Hmm.
it was really not needed. And it's and so partially some of those are also, like, one part I feel like, how few, like, just second after pandemic, during that time, right?
Hmm.
There was a great recession, right? I mean, there was a great resignation period,
Right.
right? Like
Right.
everybody
Right.
is like financial freedom. Everybody is wanted to
Yep.
like invest, and stock market and crypto and whatsoever did really
I
well,
I
right?
was yeah I was in that phase, and I think that's how I quit and started my company. But
Yeah,
yes.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and you still wanted to work, but there are several people that I know, they're like, it's okay, I don't want to.
Oh.
I mean, you are passionate about the work. You're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm leaving and I'm not going to work, right?
Oh,
And
I see.
it's the
Okay.
same
Yeah.
with me. I'm working more than what I was before, and I'm happy to do that, right? And this
Hmm.
is kind of what I want to do. But some people, they were like, oh, making enough, made enough, just retiring, right? So that was like more like a great resignation period,
Yep.
because people just didn't bother about work. And there is, I mean, those talented people, we need them, right? Like we need the
Yes.
talent too, as a world, right? Like economy and for ecosystem. And
Yeah.
then there was this quiet quitting, right? Like people are working, but then they are like, they're not really working. It's even
Hmm.
worse than rather just resign.
Right.
But
Right.
they were like, oh, I don't know if I'm not able to find some better job, or I'm just staying here making money. Why not just do that? That's like even worse, right?
Yeah.
So now it's more like that period that I feel that when with the layoffs and everything, yeah, there are many people that are considering that when this it was very hard to find people, they got quite higher title, or some of them were deserving. I'm not saying that, right? That
Yeah.
several
Yeah.
of them were. And then now so several with the layoffs and everything. And I think it's the right thing to do, that, better work than not work, right? Like,
Right.
I get that in user side roles, we were talking about user side and consulting, title is very important in those roles. In
Yes.
our case, like me and you, I mean, I don't care about title. It's a metric
No.
system, right? I mean, you could be my manager in some project, I might be
Right.
right fit, right? I mean, but
Yeah.
and I respect that, right? Because everybody has in user side roles, that's how they have different authorities too, right? So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, there are people who are willing to take either the pay cut, or a salary cut, or relocate. And I feel like we are going to go back to that standard, that people will start valuing the work, valuing that they have a
Hmm.
job, either the one who has a job or when they get the job. And they're going to be working for what they are getting paid, which is how it should be, right? At
Right.
least that, I mean, in the right way, that valuing and working, and then it will come back. So I'm hoping it will come back from both sides. Of course, I don't want to lay off either, and I don't think it's right to not work for when you
Right. Right. Right.
get
Okay.
paid
Okay.
to. So
Somehow
I don't know what you
nature
think.
yeah, I see what you're saying. I think somehow nature is gonna even it out and
Yeah.
maintain the balance, because yeah, layoffs are hard, but then at the same time, if somebody has a job and they're slacking and not doing what they need to do, but just, coasting along, especially if you're remote. I saw like some jobs in tech or bio, I don't know, but people who had a full-time job were doing other gigs on the side. So like they're
During
doing
the
two.
job hours?
Yeah, they're doing
That's
two
not right.
jobs, and they're not. I don't know. I don't want to say any names, but I just heard from a few people like, oh yeah, this so and so person has a manager job in a pharma company, but then they're also doing like audits, consulting audits and stuff on the side. So they're doing both FT and consult. I'm not sure if it's allowed or if they.
Yeah, I mean, if
I'm
they took like time off, like everybody has their whatever 20 days off,
right.
whatever, right? Like time off or 15 days, whatever. And if they did it in their time off or even unpaid leaves or something, that's separate. But
Yeah,
if I mean, that's what I mean. Meaning, I think like it's really wrong, right? Like
it is. Yeah,
making
yeah.
ethically also, it's not right. Like even as a consultant, right? We get paid for every minute in a way, right? Like so we want to be productive for every minute that we are providing, right? Services.
Right. I would say there's one maybe exception to this is if you really did not like your job, like your full-time job, and you maybe had sort of a mutual like agreement or a conversation with your manager to say, hey, you know what, I don't like this job, I want to be a consultant or I want to do something else.
Yeah.
And instead of a 2 week notice, you give a really long notice, right? Like you
Right,
say,
right,
I'm giving a 6 week notice. But just so you know, in those 6 weeks, I'm going to be, like
right, right.
entertaining a lot of other opportunities and not fully like I'm, but still,
Correct.
I feel like in that case, maybe because your current organization already knows that you're not part of the long-term future. But still, I mean, I don't know how people have done it, have both.
Yeah. No, I think there are some companies which will allow people to work not during their regular hours and not
Mm,
putting their things put their work as a priority, and then
right,
you're
yeah.
able to work. It's more like having like some people have real estate as a side gig or
Yes.
investment, right? This
Yeah, yeah.
that way it shouldn't matter as long as it's not a conflict of interest kind of same technology or something. And some companies may be allowing, or several companies might be. So I don't know if they already have, but at least they should talk and get the permission without just starting something.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
If it's permitted, then it's not like wrong. If you can handle, like everyone is different, right? Some people can only work 40 hours. Some people don't mind working 60 hours, as long as it's not interfering with the 40 hours as a full-time employee, at least minimum, or even if required more than doing more there. But I rather believe that if you're not happy, better to leave the company than quiet quitting, because
Yes,
that's
yes.
really
Yes.
really, like, it's not going to help you. I mean, it's also like how you are using your mind, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
because it's not just about, I mean, I get money is one thing and everything, but if you're not able to use your mind, then what's the point? Because you're deteriorating your career in one way or the other,
Yes.
right? So
So I saw on your LinkedIn that you're also your bio or title said that you're also investing or you're investor. So what sort of, can you share a little bit about what type of things are you, when you say
yeah.
investor, what type of things are you investing in?
You got very good thing, because generally I don't talk about this that much, but I mean, I think if I would say my hobby, that's really the investing is also my hobby. Um, I mean, versus some other girls, I would say really more like a financial aspects
Yeah,
is more
yeah.
of my hobby as well. I mean, I've invested in pretty much everything, like stock, crypto, real estate, and then have done a little bit of angel investing as well. I have been interested, and I have tried to do some M&A opportunities for some other companies as well when I was part of those, and
Tech
have
or life
explored
sciences or both?
in life sciences,
Life
on
science.
in life
Okay, okay.
sciences. Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
angel investing and M&A only in life sciences. That's what I'm interested in. I mean, my passion is really just like biopharma, biotech pharma. So that's what it continues so far.
Yeah,
So,
that's an area that I'm interested in putting more time. Like right now, I wouldn't say that I'm like I wouldn't put on my LinkedIn that I'm an investor by any means. Like, yes, I've invested in stock and crypto, but I'm not going to
what
label
what
that.
I learned, so I took some
Yeah.
courses also, right, and some things as well in between. So what I learned is one aspect, some one good like investor coach or consultant had told me, as and not just me, in the course, that if you are serious about investing, that you, I mean, it's a risk, right? First of all, you should
Yes.
probably do a disclaimer. I'm not saying anyone should
Right.
do,
Yes. Yes.
especially
This
angel
is
investing.
right. This
You might not make
this
anything.
portion right. This portion
Yeah.
of the show is not investment advice. So if you're going to make any investments or start investing in life sciences, do your own research before you take the risk.
Yeah, no, totally, totally. But yeah, so I mean, what he had suggested is, if you're serious about it, then put investor in that. If as soon as you start investing in that, or you want it. So I think that will, if you are really into investing, right? I mean, if you set it's certain, I mean, I wouldn't say just go crazy on it, but you set certain percentage of your salary that you can be okay to lose, right? Or salary or compensation, or I'm not just telling you, for you it's like for everyone, right? Like that you could be okay to lose, and that's what you can look into in angel investing if you are interested in that. In my case, it's a bit about, I mean, I have a little bit soft corner on the life science, especially biotech pharma, right? I do feel like there are so many companies nowadays, especially, right, that has great technologies in life science, but they cannot find enough investor, and that's why the companies are closing. So it's even more risky than before. But at the same time, I kind of have a little bit that soft corner. Now that I started my own company, I'm a little slow, to be honest, because I rather invest first in mine than rest in later, right? But yeah, in general, there are many good technologies out there. Once you do that, and I can probably give you some, like, if better for initial people to really start small scale, right? Like maybe, like, I don't know, whatever is the scale, 2,500 or 25,000 or something like that. There are certain venture capital that requires like 25,000 as a limit to start with, and there are some micro venture and some angel, very small sites, not even angel investing. That's kind of micro venture sort of thing that can do up to 2,500 something. You still need to be a credential investor. They check all these things. But yeah, I mean, there could be another session on that, but I could totally give you a few information
Yeah.
to put in your.
Yeah, that would be great because I found one. Have you heard of Rolling Fund? Uh,
No.
okay, so I was looking at getting into investing and more so like angel investing or startup investing, and I found this website called Angel List.
Mhm.
Again, this is a disclaimer. I don't. This is not a
Yeah.
sponsored section by Angel List. And if you go and invest on anything there, do so by doing your own homework and research.
Yeah,
But
don't come back to us. Don't
right.
quiz us on that.
Yeah, but the rolling fund concept, from what I understood, is Angel List has a lot of big tech investors like Naval Ravikant, Shan Puri, the CEO and founders of climate tech, and all these like AI tech, all these tech companies,
Mhm.
and they have a portfolio of the type of companies they like to invest. So what they do is they basically say, we're looking for 20 people to join this. It's like a pod, like you join them and you pool in your money. So whatever they
Right.
say, like we need minimum 2,500 or 5,000. So it
Yeah,
starts, some start at a lower number, some start at 10, 20,000,
correct.
and you pool in all the money, and then every 3 months or 6 months, whatever time frame, they do the payouts. So as it keeps growing, and then every 3 or 6 months, it's like a cycle. So you have to make a commitment that for the next 24 or 36 months, you are committing to 2,500,
Right.
5,000 each month.
Right.
And it's not like you're not directly investing in the startup, but you are getting a cut of that investment.
Right. Right.
And then
Your
when
risk is diverse, right? Like
risk is
it's,
diverse, exactly, and you don't have to do the research,
correct.
because the person that owns the fund, like the entrepreneur or the tech person, they have their own slide deck. They show how many exits they have made in the past. They show all the portfolio of each company they're investing and how they found them. So
Yeah,
it's if you trust that person and you trust their track record, again, it's still money. You can lose it, obviously.
true.
Every investment can go sideways, but that's one that I saw, and it was kind of interesting, maybe as an entry point to start and learn from
Right.
others. Maybe you lose some and then you really learn how to do it after
Yeah,
losing. But
exactly. Right. Then better than not knowing it in
right.
coming in the world, right? I mean, what I generally feel like, I know we were talking about the layoff and these things, right? Especially the young generations and young people. I would say like stock is the first step, right? You can
Mm,
always do
mm.
that, and then real. I mean, of course, for some people, real estate might be the first step. Stock will be separate, but in general, right? Like invest in something because I mean, even it's like, if I'm telling this to like the young kids, right? Like eh, look into, I mean, what you can, like, start with like basic index funds, basic things, then slowly go forward, right? Like from that, like S&P 500, you can not be the richest, but you can still be very well, right? Like, I mean, and over time and everything. And there are many different strategies. So once you learn more and then slowly getting into the angel investing, that's not wrong, but at the risk is higher. Risk gets higher as you get in that side, but then you can diversify with multiple such. I mean, there are certain venture capital also like that. If they have a little higher, um, like 25,000 or something, right? But I mean, but it's still like they decide and they determine, and there are different sectors like IT sector or bio sector, or they combine as well. So there are multiple different ways, but the risk is still there, but
Yes, yes,
especially in this
yes.
market.
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I have a few more questions for you before we wrap this up. I always like to ask towards the end of the show to the guest about the future and what they see happening in their space. So you are in, consulting and recruitment, specializing in life sciences. How do you see that space evolving in the next 5 or 10 years? I'm sure you've done a lot of research. You're entrepreneur or business owner in this space.
Yeah. No, see, in general, biopharma is relatively, I mean, of course, the whole industry has, I mean, every industry has been impacted with the current things. But in general, biopharma has been more solid, right? It's like next to the, I would say, healthcare, right? So life sciences, we are pretty strong. I think that there is always going to be need within even US to have the US FDA approved products, as well as like Europe and other areas, and there are several good technologies, cell therapy, mRNA technology, all is, I mean, even though we think it's new, it's not new. I mean, in a way, cell therapy was there 10 years ago, but of course, now it's being more and more evaluated, right? So I feel like it's going to continue. What I do think is, in terms of what happens generally between recruiting and consulting, and this, when the market is good, um, companies tend to hire more FTEs. That's just my philosophy. I could be wrong. And then when market is bad, then they are a little more conservative, of course. And some projects, if they can put on hold, they will. But then sometimes they cannot, and then that's when they are hiring more consultants or temporary people. That's just so it kind of balances out at some point. But I think it will change. It can't be just like this, but it will balance out in future.
What do you like doing outside of work when you're not talking to clients or hiring people to come on your team to work for you?
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, in general, of course, I like as a hobby also investing in things. One thing I do every day is I do meditation every
Mm.
day. So not like a prayers
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
nothing like that, but it's like a 6 minute quiet time.
Mm.
And it's really 6 minutes only because that's all I can. I mean, I like to do more, but 6 minutes is like
Yeah.
my heart stop things, and I literally put in the alarm. So that whether I'm in the flight, traveling, in hotel, at home, wherever it is, right? Like, and it could be, it doesn't have to be like associated with a particular time. Also, could be in the morning, could be in the during, like, if I'm tired in the bed, like 12 o'clock, wherever I reach, I mean, so it's really that has stayed with me for like years. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I mean, as hobby, I really like looking into reading, and even like all the, like, how they say you are what you Google, right? Like, you see my Google, it will be a lot of, like, investing and financial and
Right,
this and
right.
that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just very
My Google is filled with AI and automation and all of these because
yeah,
I last 6 months I've just been spending a lot of time doing that.
deep in that. Yeah.
Do you use any app for meditation, or you just like
No,
quiet time?
just quiet time. It's
Okay.
nothing not related to, just it's quiet time. And like,
Okay.
even if thoughts come, let them pass and come. And at some
Hmm.
point, the mind shouldn't have any thought. That's the goal.
Yes,
It's
yes.
hard, but to not have
Oh,
goal, but
it's
once you get set.
right. I have done it like uh occasionally, like here and there. I don't do it as a practice every day, but maybe I should, because I've heard a lot of people who are doing it and they've said great things. Like it really helps them, especially at the start of the day or just to clear your mind or process. There's so many things going on, emails and like, messages or negotiating a
For
contract
me,
or trying to get, yeah,
yeah, no, that's true. For me, start of the day would be ideal, but it's
yeah.
difficult, to be
Hmm.
honest. So I have been doing at end of the day lately.
Right, right.
It's just like, start of the day, like my mind is still like, oh, let me check this email. Did it come?
Yes, yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
it really recharges. I mean, you should try it. Like, just
Yes.
recharges. And initially, it's like even 6 minutes. We think it's like 6 minutes. Like, can't we spare
Goes
that
by
for
fast.
ourselves? But it's still long. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, it just came in mind. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, listen, it's been great having you on. I just loved everything that you've shared, your take on the whole investing side of things. That's great. I wanted to know what you, because you don't have much on your profile other than the word investor. And it's like, I need to know what you're investing, because that's an area I'm learning from everybody who is, already there 2 years, 3 years ahead of me. So thank you for sharing all those tips. And where can people find you or connect with you after this episode if they want to work with you or collaborate with you?
In general, I'm very active on LinkedIn. Of course, my email address is my first name dot last name at
Hmm.
omni-lifescience.com. There is a hyphen in between, omni-lifescience.
Yep.
But LinkedIn is just, if I can send over. I mean, you can also post there.
Yes, we'll add that. We'll add that to the show
Yeah,
notes. So,
but
yep.
I'm pretty active on that, on investing, right? Like, there are many people that reaches out in different industry, and I'm
Hmm.
really focused more on biotech and pharma only so far, and it's really more for passion, right? So other
Yes.
than, yeah, of course, stock and crypto, you would invest in anything, but
Right. Right.
for angel investing, and of course, real estate is completely different. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Real estate is fun too. Again, it's something I've read about, not done anything yet, but
I'm actually in. We are building a small triplex. So, and
oh, nice, nice,
yeah, yeah.
great.
So it's
Yeah. Any
it,
final thoughts you want to add? But I've really enjoyed this conversation. I'm sure that the listeners are gonna like, because a lot of the topics that we talked about, I haven't discussed in the past with other guests. So, any final thoughts you want to add?
no, I think this is. I mean, the life science 360. That means like all angles,
Oh,
any
yes.
aspects of life science. Is that
and
correct?
and people, from different parts of life sciences, as well. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. So I mean, if someone is from like startup company,
Yep.
not necessarily consulting, I'll most likely be connecting you with few. I mean, how did you think about it? Like, what made you think and this?
Like, for me it was more like either I could have picked one part of the industry and said, this podcast is about quality assurance or technology or whatever. But maybe that's one philosophy to do it. I just didn't want to do that because it would have been too structured and focused on one topic. So I just kept it generic. uh, this way, I have the flexibility to interview anybody I can. so I'll give you an example. I actually tried to reach out to a real estate developer. They're pretty popular. I won't say their name,
Mm.
but they solely not just life sciences, but majority of their portfolio is life sciences, the real estate for life science companies. So they have
Mm.
properties in Boston, Houston, San Francisco, Texas, Austin,
Nice.
Texas. So I'm like, hey, this is an area I have no clue about. Why
Yeah.
would you like to come on the show and talk about? But they're not, the person I reached out to wasn't interested. But that's my idea. Maybe I would have asked them, like, how do you decide which land to buy? And
Right.
that that's where the next biotech hub will come, like North
Yeah.
Carolina. Or so that was like one angle I could have gone, but that person didn't really accept to come on the show. But yeah, that's where I was going. Just keep it generic so I can talk to more people from different, because there's so many players who are touching life sciences in like different ways
Right.
that we don't get to learn because we are in QA or
Totally.
engineering. Then
Yeah.
we don't get to see that side of the world.
Yeah,
So
no, right, right. No, I mean, same here. Like, I really like to like read a lot about like life science new companies and this
mhm.
and that, right? And didn't thought that there is. I don't think of any podcast that is focused on all aspects of life science. So this is really really
it
cool.
that could be a good thing or a bad thing. So
No,
I'll
no,
find
no.
out. Yeah.
It's good to be innovative, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. I wish you all the best with all your personal goals and everything at Omni. And if there's any opportunity where we can work together, obviously I will
Totally.
reach out to you, or you can do the same on LinkedIn. And thank you so much for coming to the show. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
No,
Yep.
it's good meeting you as well. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye.